It's the 12th of December, and that can only mean one thing. It's time for Quiltmas Day 12. Hey everybody, I am Tom the ColourBlind Quilter, and you're watching Day 12 of Quiltmas 2024. Now, Quiltmas is a wonderful thing. I took part in this last year and had so much fun that I was delighted to not only take part this year, but actually to be one of the organisers this year. Now, for those of you that have not heard of Quiltmas before, here's how it works. Every day, one of our quilters releases a video and they make a quilted project. Now, that could be a quilt, it could be a bag, it could be a piece of clothing, anything they like. And then the deal is that you get to win one of these projects at the end of it. I know. And it's been an amazing lineup this year. We have so many talented people taking part in it, myself included. And I am just delighted and amazed at the things that they've made. I can't believe how creative these people are. Now, 2024 has not really been the best year for me and my family. We've had a lot of challenges and problems going on and continuing to go on. So I've not really sewn anything this year. So I was just looking forward to Quiltmas coming up so that I had an excuse to make time to go and sew. And it's been wonderful sitting at the sewing machine and producing a project that you can win. So how does this work? Well, okay, here's what happens. Every day, a quilter has released a video. And in that video, they've made a quilted project. And our theme this year was stars. And it's up to the quilters to interpret that however they wish. And then each quilter has a secret word. And they will either incorporate it into their quilt or they will just say it in the video. Now that's important and you need to remember that because you're going to need that at the end of this video. And my secret word is, no. You have to watch all the way through to the end to find out. But I think you're going to love how it ties into my quilt. And yes, I am making a quilt for my project this year. So this year I want to do something that involved lots of batch sewing. Something where I could just get into the zone and just have mindful sewing sessions where it was just chain piecing, strip piecing, lots of repetitive kind of sewing, because it just really helps me to calm my brain, calm down and relax and enjoy the sewing. And so I came up with this idea to do a Irish chain with stars because the theme is stars. So it's very simple, just 9 patches and then ribbon stars. And color wise, I wanted to go with something very modern. I wanted to avoid the traditional Christmas colors for a change because I always kind of navigate towards the traditional colors. So I thought, why not black? And remember that because that will be important. So I went for black and a cream background, lots of contrast. And then I thought, what color can I use that will go nicely? And lots of things go with black. I mean, anything goes with black. So I thought black and red. And then as I looked at it, I thought that's a really modern twist on a Christmas color palette. And I really enjoyed it. And I thought, yes, this is the color palette for me. Now, when it came to stars, there are many stars, so many stars, hundreds of stars. As I browsed my encyclopedia of quilt blocks, I was completely overblown by how many stars there was. But they needed to not be complicated because I was going to have to make a lot of them. And so I remembered from one of my other videos, the ribbon star is a really nice, easy-ish quilt block to make. And I thought that would look lovely. And so I started setting about designing this in pre-quilt. And 9 patches are dead easy because they're just squares. Ribbon stars are dead easy because they're just half square triangles. I opted for one color because you can do them in different colors. I opted for one color for the star, just all red. And the concept is that the star floats in the negative space between the Irish chains. And I looked across the internet looking for 6.5-inch ribbon star pattern sizes just to give me a bit of a head start and couldn't find any. And I realized after I'd made them why I couldn't find any. Because they were tiny. It had this kind of, it's very simple, it's a grid layout. And I thought it needs something to frame it. So I could either do the black, but that lost some of the chain effect, or I could do the cream, and that then allows the pattern, the kind of design to float. So I went for the cream border first, and then I went for the black border just to finish it off. And then was the choice of the binding color. Did I want the black, which would just, you know, nicely merge in, it would look nice and neat, or did I want to actually just make a statement? Now cream, I thought was, no, that's too much of a statement. That's just going to stick out like a sore thumb, and any mistakes, you'll see them from a mile off. So I went for red. And the way that I think about this is that it's like a picture. The quilt top is the design, and then the cream border and the black borders are the picture mounts. And it's part of the frame and it's part of finishing off the picture. So that's how I view my borders, as the picture mount, and then the red binding around the outside is the kind of picture frame, and it just ties it all in a nice neat little package. And the red and the black contrast together so nicely. So I thought, I'm onto a winner here. And then I went shopping for black Christmas fabric. And yeah, it's kind of hard to find black Christmas fabric. And I spent hours browsing fabric shops, such a huge burden having to do all that fabric shopping. And I saw black fabrics with big florals on it, which were a bit of a no-no. I saw black fabrics with metallic writing that were quite nice, but very busy. So it was a bit like fabric speed dating, you know, like 30 seconds to impress me or not. And most of them did not. And the other thing as well about the fabric with the writing is that it's directional. So it adds complexity and potential fabric wastage, making sure that all the writing is in the right direction. Because who wants to be like trying to read what it says, like, you know, at a weird angle. And so finally I settled on a charcoal, because it was much easier to find charcoal grey, black-ish, and I went for snowflakes, and so I'm using this fabric. Now, because the 9 patches are a bit bigger, it was easier to find a pattern that was, you know, there's not that much negative space, and by negative space I mean the black or charcoal between these elements, and you can see it's quite a full print. There's not a lot of negative space, so that means that would feature nicely in the 9 patches. What was not so easy was finding a red patterned fabric, because initially I thought I'd just use red. I thought that's a bit boring. So I thought maybe something with stars, you know, stars, because this is stars. So finding a red patterned fabric with stars, and to put that into context, this red patterned fabric was going into 2-inch half square triangles, which is tiny by the time they've been sewn into the block. So the pattern needed to be small. It needed to not have a lot of space between the elements. And so I picked, there was very few to pick from, but I went with this one because, and I don't know if the camera shows that, but these are black stars. And it's like red fabric with stars, black, check. Like, I'm winning at this project. After I made 204 2-inch half square triangles using this fabric, I realized that the pattern, there's too much negative space. And so some of these half square triangles have lovely stars, and some are just blank red. Oh well. But construction wise, as I said, I wanted something I could batch sew. I wanted something that was mindful sewing, so just pushing through the sewing machine, you know. And those that are watching the clips, if I haven't already shown sewing, or sewing is happening whilst I'm talking, you see that I might have a new sewing machine that we need to talk about, but not in this video. And I cut everything in advance. I had everything laid out and ready to go, so I could just sew, and got to work. And it was at that point I realized that how much work it is to make 204 half square triangles. And it's not that it's difficult, it's just time consuming. It was, you know, put a YouTube video on, got on with it, and just enjoyed it. It was great. They were a bit fiddly. I was starting to get a bit fed up by the time I got to like number 203. They were fiddly. But batching made it go fast and easy, you know, although my iron was complaining at me the whole time. It's gone on strike now, it's back there, it's had enough. But I made a point of doing the stars first because I did know that there was going to be a lot of work making all those half square triangles, and it was going to be small and, you know, needed a bit of focus. So I deliberately made them first, you know, eat the frog first, as they say, and then I could do the 9 patches afterwards. And the funny thing is that as I was, you know, doing my strip piecing for the 9 patches and cutting my segments, I thought, do you know, it's taken me less time to make 89 patches than it has to do just the maths for the ribbon stars. And so it was fine. So I had some squaring up to do for my ribbon stars. They did not quite turn out the right size for some reason. Somewhere in my maths, something is not quite right by about 1/4 inch. No problem, we just chop, chop, and away we go. And then it's dead easy. You just lay it out in rows, sew the rows together, make sure your pressing is locking so that it gives you nice nested, add your borders. And that's kind of where I am just now in this video because my quilt is not finished. I know. It will be finished, however, in time for the recipient to get it before Christmas. I will make sure that it's done. But when it comes to my borders, I'm one of these people that I don't like to cut my strips in advance. What I like to do is wait till I've made the quilt top, then measure, and then make my quilt strips. Because I have made quilt strips in the past and discovered that I've cut fabric up that I didn't need to cut, or I haven't cut enough fabric. So I wait till I'm ready to attach the borders and then see what I need to do. For the quilting design, And you won't see the quilting in this video, I'm afraid, because it's not done yet. But I will be doing a diagonal pattern. I will be going with the chains, sewing right through the middle of those, and that will work very nicely because it will make the quilt all flow nicely. It will keep it nice and fluffy, and it's a simple but really effective way of quilting. And I talked about this in some of my other videos, that when it comes to the quilting design, you got to pick something that either completely covers your pattern so that it doesn't clash, or you have to pick something that complements and goes with that, which is why I've picked diagonal lines for this one, because it flows with the chains. But equally, it's quick and it's fast, and it always turns out really nicely because it's just literally straight line quilting, and all you really need to get started is a piece of masking tape or just mark a line with pencil that you can, you know, rub off. And then once you've got your first line, I just use a seam guide and away we go. What is not so easy, however, is picking thread colors for this kind of design, because black and cream, it's kind of difficult to find something in the middle. So I had kind of 4 colors in mind here. I thought black to match the black fabric, you know, I thought that would look really striking, but that would really stand out on the cream fabric. And I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, if it's going to be one of these things that you see and you're like, oh wow, that just pops, or one of these things you're going to be like, what were you thinking? So black is on the sidelines. Then I thought cream, which will add texture to the background because it's a cream background, and the cream thread I have, it kind of blends in. What you will see is on the background fabric is just texture, and then on the black and the red you will see the little pops of thread. And so that to me makes more sense, because you'll only see flashes of the cream thread. It's not going to be like the black thread that's in your face so much. So I think cream is what I'm going to go for. My other option is grey, a kind of light grey. Actually have a bobbin here. This is a Aurifil light grey that I use for piecing sometimes, just to use it up. So that's another option as well. It doesn't really matter about the back, because it's not going to show in the back, because I'm using a really thick fleecy back. So the thread just melts into that. You don't see any thread colour at all, you just see the texture of the line. So, well, let me get the backing fabric and I'll show you. Look at this. It's not quite the red I wanted. The red I wanted was out of stock. So this is brick red, which is more orangey than it looked on the website. But it's so soft. Now, unfortunately, as I said, this is not finished. So I have no footage of me quilting this, but if I had footage of me quilting this, you would see that I was quilting on another new sewing machine. Shh, don't tell my partner. So anyway, I'm going to put up a picture of the finished quilt top with its borders here, and you can see what it looks like. I think it's always funny, isn't it? Like when you design digitally, I think I said this in a previous video, like it's so easy to get carried away and make all these things, and then you sit down to make it and you're like, I don't actually know if I can sew this without like random, like, you know, 4 7/8 and all this stuff. But actually when you sit down and you design something really simple, and then it comes together, and then even looking at it on the floor as I'm like piecing the rows together, I was like, yeah, this is okay. But as soon as the top comes together and you just see all the patterns and the secondary designs and everything come together, I love that moment. It's just when you see all your work come together and you see how nicely it works, and the connection between what you see in your head and what you see as the finished product, and how sometimes it's even better than you imagined. And I think that's one of the joys of quilting. I love that. So anyway, enough rambling. Let's talk about how you can win it. Now this is the crucial bit that you've got to pay attention to, okay? So this is your chance to win one of the 12 fabulous projects that you have seen from Quiltmas 2024. Now this is what you need to do to enter. You have to go and watch each of the Quiltmas videos for every single day. And there's links in the description below to each of the quilters and their videos that they have produced. What you need to do is you need to watch them all the way to the end and get their secret word. And you need to write them down, take a note of them, keep a note of them, don't lose those. And my secret word, in case you did not get it, is black. That's right, my secret word is black. So write that down along with all the other 11 quilters' secret words. And what you then need to do is go to the description of the video and find the entry form for the competition link. And what you need to do is fill that form in and put each day, it will say the name of the quilter and select their secret word, including mine, which is black, 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 black. Okay? And then you need to put your name and you need to put your email address in it. And it's really important that you spell your email address right. So take 2 seconds just to make sure that it's correct, because if it doesn't work, we can't contact you if you've won the quilt and we'll have to pick another winner. So make sure your email address is correct. So to enter, do all that, you have 48 hours to enter the competition. So 11:59 Eastern Time, December 14th is when the competition entries will close. Now to find out who's winning these, what you need to do is you need to join me and Kristen. We're going to host a live stream on December 15th, and I'm going to get the times so I don't tell you the wrong times. So on December 15th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 1:30 p.m. Pacific or 9:30 p.m. UK time, Kristen from Scrap Fabric Love and myself will be hosting a live stream, and I'll pop the links in the description below. That's going to be on Kristen's channel, and it will also be streamed on my channel if it works. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the fabulous Wheel of Names. All the competition entries that go in and get it correct will go into the Wheel of Names, and then we will draw a name for each day. And then we will get in touch with the winners to get your addresses and everything, so you can get your beautiful quilty projects from your winning day. And as I said, I've never done a live stream before, so I mean, what could possibly go wrong? But you're going to have to tune in to find out. So that's Quiltmas 2024, and I declare competition entries are officially open. Best of luck. I hope you have fun watching all the videos, and I hope you enjoy our live stream, or our attempt at a live stream on December 15th. Don't forget, you only have 48 hours to enter the competition. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments what colour palette you would have used for this quilt and what your favourite day's project was. I know what mine is, but I want to hear what yours is first, and then I'll put a comment later telling you which one mine was. Here's hoping that 2025 is a better year. I've got lots of things that I want to do. I want to give back to YouTube and make videos and sew. And I also want to introduce you to my not one, but two new sewing machines. And I also have some unfinished business from video series to tie up. So I know some of you will be happy about that. So have a fabulous festive season, a wonderful new year when it comes if you celebrate all that. And don't forget to join us on December 15th for the live stream. All the details for everything are in the description below, so you won't forget anything. So thanks very much for watching. Happy Quiltmas. Have a great festive season. And I will see you on the 15th of December, and then I'll see you next year.